Hello everyone, welcome back again to this channel. Thank you so much for being with me. Now, if you know you are doing something at the moment, can you just leave it aside and come and listen to what I have to tell you guys? Nigeria has an Igbo problem, and that is not a statement from an agri protester. It's from an agitator. It's a quote from Omoyole Sowore, human rights activist and presidential candidate, and a founder of what Sahara Reporters. He said, this is what he said. I quote him. He said, there is a secret memo in the Nigerian government that says, be careful of the Igbos, don't give them position, don't give them opportunity, otherwise, we the system will suffer. And that right there is what Nnamdi Kanu has been shouting for so many years. Now, please, if this is your first time on this channel, please do it, click the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss the kind of content the mainstream this channel will show you guys. Now let's go deep into what is really happening. In a recent podcast appearance, Sowore said something many Nigerians know but are too afraid, to say it loud. He revealed that within the highest corridors of power, there is a silent classified rule, a memo that says never allow the Igbo rise too high. Don't trust them with national leadership. Block their chances at the top. Now ask yourself, is this just a theory? Look at the political appointment. Look at the leadership of Nigeria's armed forces. Look at how Nnamdi Kanu is still being detained despite multiple court orders for his release. Now look at how P2B was treated during the 2023 elections, which was so wrong. They treated P2B bad during the 2023 election. He won the election, but they reached it. They reached the election. Now, even people who praise P2B honestly, his record, his performance, many of them even refuse to vote for him. Why? Because he's an Igbo man. You see this Igbo marginalization, it has done a lot. It has done a lot in Nigeria. This is exactly what Nnamdi Kanu called what? Marginalization. He said no matter how competent an Igbo is, the Nigerian state will not allow him rise. He said it. Nnamdi Kanu said it that no matter how competent an Igbo man is for a particular position, the Nigerian state will not allow him rise, and that is what they are doing to P2B to today. That is why you see they're fighting that P2B will not be the president of Nigeria when he's what capable. He has the qualifications to be the president of this country. He has everything. He has the qualification to be the president of this country. Now, P2B was not rejected because he lacked the capacity. He was rejected by many in the north and the west because of his identity. And I think this is the high time for the northerners to at least give him a chance. Yes, give him a chance so that at least he'll be able to see, they will be able to see what P2B can do come 2027. They should give him a chance. You cannot just come and start saying an Igbo man is how do you know if he comes into power if he will not perform well? No, P2B wasn't rejected because of he lacked the capacity, because we already know he had the capacity. He had the capacity to rule. There was a time I was talking about P2B being the qualified candidate for the civil election, and I saw a lot of people commenting, and they were saying that, what do I mean by that? That he is not qualified. That what did he do in Anambra State? You're talking about P2B is not qualified, but there are some northerners who are his colleagues that are still coming up for 2027 election that have not even done anything in the north. They don't even have any experience, and you're comparing him with a man that at least had an experience in Anambra State. And no, it doesn't make sense. Now, like I always tell you, P2B was never rejected because he lacked the capacity. He had enough capacity. In fact, he was well qualified. He was just rejected by many in the north and the west because it was his identity, because he's an Igbo man. So it's not about merit. It was about what tribal fear. And that is the real danger. That's the real danger we are facing in this Nigeria. That is it. We're facing what tribal. We're facing tribal fear. The Northerners are afraid that if an Igbo man come to power, they are going to take over. And this is what Sowore said, that this is about marginalization. Now, Sowore connected this marginalization into a deeper historical wound, one that still bleeds silently today. He referenced what happened in the core program, a period of anti-Igbo violence that saw Igbos slaughtered in northern cities, their heads and bodies thrown into trains, sent down south like dead animals, with no national outrage, no justice. And yet we call this one Nigeria. Really? What kind of country does that to its own citizen? Now, in 2024, Nnamdi Kanu remains in detention despite court ruling ordering his release, the UN calling for his release, widespread or public outcry. The government continues to hold him. Why? Because the system is afraid. Not just afraid of Kanu, but afraid of what he represents. Igbo self-determination. Afraid of a region that refuses to bow to second-class citizenship. As Sowore put it, he said, this is what Sowore said. He said, for an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, The country must break from how it is currently structured. That is a heavy statement, but one that speaks the truth many fear, to admit. People have, they are afraid to admit the truth. Yes, they're afraid. They already know the truth. Is it one thing that kills Nigeria is that Nigerians don't want to hear the truth. And that is it. That is one thing that is killing us in this country. We have refused to hear the truth. That the Nigerian government, they are just that what is happening is they're just having tribal fear. And that is what is killing us. It's just this tribal fear. Now, this is not just speculation. So Sowore said there's a hidden written memo. Sowore said it. He said there's a hidden written memo against the Igbos, and that is true. There's a hidden written memo against the Igbos. Now he said an actual documented policy that instructs that no Igbo in key power positions, no Igbo president, no Igbo control of the army, the DSS or the oil sector. Let's be clear. If this is true, then Nigeria is no longer a democracy. It's an apartheid system with a national flag. And the people must decide if they will continue, to play along. Now, after this revelation of what Omoyolo Sowore said, social media exploded. Let's take a look at some real comments from what people were saying. So people are saying that Sowore is right. The memo will not be public, but it is real. Just look around. Even if you look around what is happening, you understand that what Sowore said is right. Now, another person said P2B's loss wasn't about performance, it was about fear. The system is scared of what Igbo leadership. It's not like P2B is not qualified. He's a very qualified candidate. Up to now, keep saying it. The Northerners should give him a chance to rule. You cannot come out and say that, oh, an Igbo man he cannot do anything because what did he do in Anambra State? Give him a chance. The fact he's begging for 4 years is because you guys have refused to give him a chance. He's begging for that 4 years so that he'll be able to, to show you guys what he can achieve with 4 years. Then you guys will not be able to determine if you allow him to rule for 8 years or not. Now, P2B's loss wasn't about performance. It was about fear. The system is scared of our Igbo leadership. Kanu was right all along. The structure is not built for fairness. This country can't heal until it faces the truth, and that truth is ugly. That truth is ugly. That is one thing we should understand. You see, I keep saying it. I think we need to give P2B a chance. Yes, we give the Igbos a chance at least to rule. We've not had any Igbo presidents in Nigeria. I think we only had one. We've not even had more than the Northerners have been the one taking the power for so many years now. And I want to say this thing. That's why Nnamdi Kanu is not fighting against what Igbo marginalization. They not only want power to go to their own region. They only want one part. They only want power for themselves. And that's why Nnamdi Kanu told them that I'm going to rewrite this 1999 constitution. It's only favoring one particular region. Even when they opposed the bill, to allow a rotational presidency to other regions, the northern lawmakers they opposed it. This is totally bad. No, this Igbo problem it did not start today. Since independence, Igbos has faced 1966 programs and massacres of Igbo people across the north. 1967 to 1970, the Biafran War, over 3 million Igbos were stabbed or killed. 1970 and 1980s, Igbo business deliberately was excluded from federal contracts and banking was licensed. In 1999 to 2023, no Igbo elected president, despite Southeast producing some of Nigeria's best mind. This is a pattern. The same country that claims unity has shown through action that it fears what Igbo leadership. Now, why is there so much fear around the Igbo people? Sowore answered this something. He said, Igbos are independently minded. They do not depend on what government favors. They build their own. That scares what the establishment. Igbos are what independent minded people. They do not depend on government. For these people are not people that say, oh, let's depend. No, they build their own, and that scares what that establishment. And it's true. Igbos dominate trade across Nigeria. They rebuild quickly after war, disaster, or eviction. Even after the war, they never gave Igbos any money or did anything for them. Igbos were the ones that had to rebuild themselves immediately, and they started functioning well again. They rebuild themselves quickly after war, disaster, or eviction. They don't worship power; they challenge it. That's one thing with Igbo people. That's why the system doesn't just marginalize them; it sees them as a threat. They see Igbo people as a threat. You see an Hausa man, a northern man, he'll beat his chest and say that an Igbo man cannot be president because of what the 1999 constitution. The 1999 constitution is favoring them. Now, Nnamdi Kanu. Now let's look at some of these comparisons. Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention since 2021 despite what court rulings. Yet non-terrorists and bandits like Tuji, Kankarat bandits, and repented Boko Haram walk free. Some are even compensated. So we ask, is Nigeria a country of law, a country of tribal calculation? Because we need to understand. One of the most heartbreaking things is that there is very little national outrage when Igbos are marginalized. When Kanu was kidnapped and silenced, when soldiers invaded the southeast, they were silent. When P2B was mocked as a mere trader, there was laughter and not was protest. It shows that many Nigerians have been conditioned to normalize injustice as long as it does not affect their tribe. This silence is dangerous because injustice to one is a threat to all. And yet, despite the hate, the Igbos have given Nigerians so much. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Nigeria's first president, Chinachebe, one of the world's greatest novelists, and Emeka Ojukwu, a military legend who led with courage. Today, Igbos dominate entrepreneurship, technology, and export. People so marginalized, yet they still so these are people, Igbos are marginalized, but they are still productive. It's shocking, right? They are marginalized, but they are so productive. Why then are they feared? Why are they not hated? Just like a time that you see the northerners, you see where this oil is coming from the south. But anytime they're giving budget, anytime they're doing revenue allocation budget, they will give a higher budget to the north and they'll give the south a little budget. And you'll be asking, the same oil that the south are producing, the north are enjoying it, but we receive what? A low budget when it comes to revenue allocation. This is so bad. Now, love him or hate him, everything Nnamdi Kanu warned about is happening. If you like, love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you like, hate him. Everything he said has still coming to pass, and that's what we are seeing in the society today. And people are not confirming it. Even the Nigerian government are confirming that this man is a prophet, because everything he said back there, far back then, is now coming to pass. Now, he talked about in political exclusion, selective justice, media silence on Igbo death, conspiracy to block Igbo presidency. He once said, the Nigerian state was not built for the Igbo, it was built to suppress them. And with Sowore's memo, with Sowore's memo confession, it seems he was right all along. This is not a fight for only Igbos. This is a fight for Nigerians' conscience. The youth must rise. We must demand justice. We must reject tribal fear. Sowore's bold statement should spark a generational-wide reawakening. A Nigeria where no one is excluded because of their language or origin, that is the Nigeria we must fight for. That is the Nigeria we must fight for, because we have understood what these people are trying to use us to do. Yes, they just want to turn the Igbos to slavery. They want to make us be second-class citizens. That is what the Igbos are in Nigeria. We are like second-class citizens to them. They exclude us in everything. When it comes to politics, they're excluding us. When it comes to this, they're excluding it, which is so bad. Now, let's talk about the federal character principle, a constitutional mandate that says every ethnic group in Nigeria must be fairly represented in government appointments. Now, let's take a look at reality. Nigerian top security positions, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, DSS, Police, NSCDC, in recent years, almost no Igbo was representation. Now, out of more than 17 security agencies, the Southeast is frequently excluded or given token position. The federal character principle exists only on paper, not in practice. It has become a selective tool to maintain control, and the Southeast knows it. They know it. Another hidden hand in this marginalization is the media. When Igbos are attacked, the headlines are vague. They will say clashes in Southeast, unknown gunmen kill youth. But when Igbos speak out or protest, separatists threaten national unity. IPOB terrorists block road. Where is the balance? That's what they're going to be saying. Anytime the Igbos are trying to speak out or protest, you start hearing something like this in the news. IPOB terrorists block road. They use even their media, to incite that IPOB or the Igbo people are violent, or the Igbo people are terrorists. It's so bad. Why is violence against Igbos downplayed? Why Igbo agitation is criminalized? That is what Nnamdi Kanu called media sabotage. He said it. Media sabotage. That's what Nnamdi Kanu called media sabotage. Now, during the Lagos State elections of 2023, Igbos were openly threatened and harassed simply for attempting to vote. Remember what happened? Some polling units were shut down because Igbos were too many. Markets were burned down, including Balogun and Oyimbo, after Igbos were accused of voting the wrong way. Ethnic slurs like "Go back to Onitsha" and "This is not your land" flooded social media. This wasn't 1960. This was in 2023. Yet no single politician was arrested for inciting tribal hate. Now, one Nigeria is a lie without equal rights. One Nigeria is a big lie. They say one Nigeria, but what kind of one Nigeria? Where one region controls oil block, another region dominates security, and one is told to wait their turn every election cycle. Anytime they are doing election, they say, "Oh, wait your turn, wait your turn." Every election cycle, when is that turn? When the Northerners only want to, take power, they want to have power for themselves, forever. Now, one Nigeria is a slogan and not a lived reality for many Igbos. As long as exclusion continues, unity will remain fake and fragile. Even outside Nigeria, the system follows them. The Nigerian government has been accused of lobbying foreign governments to label IPOB as a terrorist group, despite the fact that IPOB has no international terror record. Igbo-led organizations are sometimes banned or watched more closely by foreign embassies simply because of their identity. Marginalization is not just national, it is global and it is what state-sponsored. Now ask yourself, who benefits from all this Igbo suppression? The political class that fears restructuring, the elites who use tribal division to stay in power, foreign interests who want Nigeria divided and distracted. The marginalization of Igbos is not random, it is deliberate. It is designed to keep the country disunited and the people distracted. Now, why the world is silent? Why hasn't the African Union said anything about it? Why has ECOWAS gone silent on Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention? Why is the UK, the same country where Kanu holds citizenship, mute? The world only listens when the people speak loudly together. Now, until the Igbos and other well-meaning Nigerians speak with one voice, the world will look the other way. Now, P2B and Nnamdi Kanu represent two different paths, but one message. They represent one message. Whether the Igbos believe in change through Obi believes in change through what? Political reform. Kanu believes in what? Total what? Separation. But both are saying one thing. The Igbos are not treated fairly. Yes. And both were punished. One with slander, the other one with chain. It is so terrible. If Nigeria ignores both men, then it ignores its last chance at peace. Why is Nigeria so afraid of an Igbo president? Could it be that an Igbo president will challenge corrupt system? An Igbo president would push for real restructuring? An Igbo president would break the North-South control deal? This fear is not about ethnicity, it's about losing power. The future belongs to the youth. And the Igbo youth must lead the movement for equity, fairness, and recognition. This isn't just about Biafra or Nigeria. It's about dignity. If you're Igbo and you remain silent, you're helping your oppressors. So what do we do next? What do we do? What we do next? We need to demand justice for Nnamdi Kanu, demand electoral equity, demand regional restructuring, demand equal opportunity, and demand truth. Because no group is now. So guys, just like I always tell you guys, there's a normal ritual we normally do in this channel. We use this platform to agitate for the release of Martin Nnamdi Kanu. So please do well to type in the comment section, free Nnamdi Kanu, and also justice delayed is not justice denied. To tell the federal government that this man is really innocent. So let us actually go on to what we have. So let's rewind Nigerian history from colonialism to what post-independence. In 1966, after a failed coup by most Igbo officers, over 30,000 Igbos were massacred in the north, sparking the Biafra War. Post-war policy of no victor, no vanquish was declared, but in reality, Igbo bank accounts were seized. Everyone was paid only 20 euro, regardless of pre-war savings. Federal jobs and contracts excluded Igbos for decades. The war may have ended in 1970, but the punishment continues. This isn't new, it's a generational pattern of systematic exclusion. Do you know that the Southeast, despite being highly industrious, has the poorest federal infrastructure? No functional international airports until recently, while the North has multiple. No major seaports in the Southeast, everything goes through Lagos or Port Harcourt. The second Niger Bridge took 45 plus years to complete. This is economic strangulation, not an oversight. They want the Igbo man to hustle but not to thrive. When even Igbo culture is under attack, Nollywood and popular media often portray Igbos as greedy traders, or ritualists. Government curriculum downplay Igbo heroes like Jaja of Opobo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, and Chinua Achebe. Igbo language is not even promoted in federal schools. This is what scholars call cultural genocide, the slow erosion of what people's pride. Nnamdi Kanu warned about this too. If they can kill your language, they will kill your identity. Do you know that even in religious bodies, Igbos are sidelined? In the Christian Association of Nigeria, that's CAN, Igbos rarely hold top national positions. In Muslim umbrella organizations like Jinn, or Miswin. Southeast voices are almost what completely absent. Yet Igbos are deeply spiritual with vibrant Christian and Muslim communities. Marginalization cuts across every pillar: politics, security, economy, and religion. Have you ever asked why is the global media so quiet? Because Igbo suffering is not profitable for them until it explodes. During the NSAS protest, global media picked up the story only after bloodshed. Nnamdi Kanu's detention, major media outlets waited months before acknowledging it. The Biafran war killed 2 million people, yet it is one of the latest documented genocide of the 20th century. Until blood is spilled, the world does not care about Africa. Injustice and especially not what Igbo injustice, but what will make them care? We need to speak by showing and by refusing, to be silent. If you're from the southeast, ask yourself, what kind of Nigeria are you defending? If you're from the north or west, ask yourself, do you believe in justice for all? Because this country is either for everyone or it will end up for no one. Marginalization is the fuse, injustice is the fire, and silence is what the fuel. It's time to blow the whistle before the country blows up. We need to do something about the way they're marginalizing the Igbos. We need to do something about it, because Nnamdi Kanu told us already that you see these people, if something is not done, they will keep marginalizing us and will be treated like second-class citizens in our own country. Let's talk about the 23 elections and the war on Igbo-owned businesses in Lagos. Igbo traders were attacked in Alaba, Ladipo, and Balogun just for supporting P2B. Shops were sealed, arbitrary permits were revoked. Igbos were openly told Lagos is not your land. But these are Nigeria's tax-paying citizens. Lagos was the federal capital for decades. It belongs to all. That's not just economic sabotage, it's what ethnic apartheid. Now let's ask the tough question. Sowore hinted at, why are they so afraid of an Igbo president? The answer lies in fear of restructuring and economic independence. Igbo leadership threatens the northern economic dependence on oil wealth from the south. The Igbo man brings innovation, trade and sufficiency, and that disrupts what the old power order. An Igbo presidency will likely push for meritocracy and break the Igbo boys club. The cabals fear losing control, not the Igbos themselves. Now, Showore's statement connects directly to the continued illegal detention of Nnamdi Kanu. All courts, both Nigerian and international, have ordered his release. Yet Tinubu's government, like Buhari, refuses to obey court orders. Why? Because releasing Nnamdi Kanu could reignite political awareness and Southeast was solidarity. They are afraid of his voice, not his action. That's why they silence him. Let's expose what Sowore and even Obasanjo have whispered. Nigeria's 1999 constitution is a democracy with an automatic majority in the Senate. Revenue allocation formula favors landmass over population or productivity. Local government areas are uneven, giving the North more federal what allocation. This document wasn't written by Nigerians, it was imposed by the military. People have been asking, who wrote the 1999 constitution? It is the military that wrote it. Because tell me why Nnamdi Kanu is saying that they should rewrite the 1999 constitution, that it only favors the North. You see, a northerner will come out and beat his chest and say an Igbo man cannot become president because of the 1999 constitution is favoring them. Imagine them rewriting that 1999 constitution. You find that the northerners will have nothing in hand. They will not even have any achievement. They will not even be able to maintain policy. Will continue. So even when Igbos leave Nigeria and thrive abroad, they are still seen as outsiders at home. Many successful diaspora Igbos are rejected when they try to invest or contest election. Dual citizenship becomes a weapon to disqualify them. Look at what happened to P2B, scrutinized more for his Igbo root than his policies. Home and abroad, the Igbo is constantly reminded, you are not one of us. Yet, it is the Igbo diaspora sending billions in remittance yearly to boost Nigeria's economy. Nigeria cannot keep using Igbos as an ATM, but locking them out of power. They want their money, their brains, and their energy, but not their leadership. That is not unity. That is what exploitation. That is what exploitation. And something needs to be done about the marginalization of the Igbos. If not, it will get out of hand. And the first thing, like I'll keep saying, if we want us to end this marginalization, the first thing we need to do is to burn that 1999 constitution, because it is what is favoring the North. We need to rewrite it, or we'll just say it. because the Nnamdi Kanu has told us the secret that what is favoring them is what the 1999 constitution. Let's look at how the Nigerian state specifically what targets Igbo youth under the guise of what national security. Mass arrest of IPOB supporters, even those unarmed or peacefully protesting. Southeast states are militarized far more than bandits infested areas in the north. While Boko Haram members get what rehabilitation, Igbo agitators get indefinite detention. What kind of justice system forgives terrorists but hunts citizens asking for equality? Now, do you remember what happened in Olu, Imo State? Entire villages bombarded by air raids under Buhari. Young men disappeared, women raped, homes were flattened. Yet there was no national outrage, no mainstream media coverage. Why? Because it was Igbo land. If that happened in the north or west, Nigeria would have shut down. Even international media ignored it, further exposing global silence on Southeast was oppression. 2023 wasn't just about region, it was about what ethnic war. Influencers openly said, if you're Igbo, don't come out to vote. Talks were talks were hired to attack markets where Igbos were dominated. P2B's votes in Lagos were suppressed simply because of his ethnicity, yet INEC looked away. Policy did nothing, police did nothing, and the government acted deaf. That's not democracy, that's apathy with ballots. Have you ever wondered why Igbo land, despite its trade power, has no working seaport? The Onitsha River Port was completely unabandoned. Port Harcourt and Warri are slowed down by federal logistics while Lagos is overcrowded. Every import must pass through Lagos, enriching the west while choking the east. This is a calculated economic blockade. You can't grow a regional economy if every container must travel 800 kilometers by road under heavy tax and exploitation. Let's talk about the biggest open secret, the silent pact among the Nigerian running elite. An Igbo man must never become president. Sowore confirmed it. Obasanjo hinted it too. Even Northerners whisper it in fear. Why? They say Igbos will seek revenge. They say Igbos will restructure Nigeria. They fear the rise of a new economic and meritocratic order. But this fear is a lie and is killing the country from within. The truth is, Igbo leadership is not a threat, it's a cure to decades of dysfunction. Until Nigeria confronts this truth, that equality must mean equal access to power. The nation will keep limping on one leg, dragging the east like a body while it was expecting peace. So something needs to be done at this point, because if nothing is done, that means it is over. Like they will keep marginalizing they will keep marginalizing the Igbos. Now Nigeria runs on oil, yet the people from the southeast closest to the oil producing region are completely was sidelined in petroleum leadership. No Igbo GMD of NNPC in decades, no major refinery sited in Igbo land. All lucrative oil contracts go to northern and western war cronies. This is the irony. The environmental damage of oil spills hits the east and south out, but the profits flow up to the north. Marginalization isn't just political, it is economic warfare. Let's look at a military map of Nigeria. Southeast has no major military base, no Air Force command, no elite army training colleague. Why? Because they don't trust the Igbos with national defense. They keep all military infrastructure in the north and west, threatening the east as a territory to be watched and not protected. This exclusion sends one message: you are not part of us. During the Biafran War, Nigeria used food as a weapon. Today, federal highways into the east are deliberately neglected or blocked. Cattle routes are protected, but farm roads in Igbo communities are impassable. Agriculture grants and loans barely reach the east. So the hunger strategically continues any other group. Goods imported because are delayed. If Lagos, Aba, Onitsha, or Nnewi, multiple checkpoints between Lagos and southeast cities are designed to extort and frustrate. Why is the road from Kano to Lagos smooth, but that from Lagos to Aba littered with 50 plus extort points? Now, this is what they say. Even in culture, marginalization continues. National broadcasts exclude Igbo content of subtitles if you notice. Federal funded art projects about the end fund that they gave to students. They said that a student can borrow from, it's like a loan app that the student can borrow, maybe after NYSC the students can pay back. Do you know that they only approved for the northerners? The south is also approved for that loan. They only approved for northerners. It is currently 2025. That's currently that they started approving for the southeast. And when they even approved for southeast, it wasn't everybody they approved of. They only approved for little people. But the northerners get the chance of getting approved for that loan, and all of them received. Everybody that applied for the loan received it in the north. This is what I tell you guys. You see, this marginalization, this Igbo marginalization is getting too much. Honestly, it is really getting too much, and out of hand. And that's why you see Nnamdi Kanu is doing on his best, to fight against all these things. Now they want to erase the Igbo identity, not through violence this time, but by slowly making it what invisible. When a people have excluded from governance, economy, military, and culture, what's left? Only resistance, only agitation, and that's the seed of chaos that Nigerian continues, to water. And this is terrible. So, guys, just like I always say, please, we normally use this platform to agitate for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So please do wait to type in the comment section, free Nnamdi Kanu, and also justice delayed is not justice denied. Do you know that some of the oil fields in the south, and southeast, particularly in Imo and Abia State, are generally what they are generating billions annually? But here is the trick. Northern states that don't produce a drop of oil get massive monthly allocation. Meanwhile, Igbo communities like Ohaji, Aguta, and Ukwa still suffer from bad roads, gas flooring, no hospitals, and no federal investment. The oil is real in Igbo land, but the prosperity is shipped to Sokoto and Katsina. That's not revenue sharing, that's what robbery. Now, a student from Anambra must score 280 plus to enter federal university. Meanwhile, students from northern states like Zamfara, Kebbi, or Yobe are admitted with JAMB scores of 140 to 160. Why? Because of the educational disadvantage system policy. Is intelligence based on geography? Is merit sacrificed for ethnicity? This is a silent war on Igbo youth. The Southeast is punished for brilliance and is systematic. Nigeria claims to operate on federal character, equal opportunity across zones, but in practice, no Igbo person is in top 10 powers holders today. No Igbo person is in the top 10 power holders today. No Southeast security chief, no major federal agency CEO from the East. So what's federal about this character? What? Even when the constitution protects Igbo, the power brokers ignore it with impunity. From Nollywood to tech to commerce, Igbo have pioneered entire industry. Nollywood was better in Aba, Onitsha, and Enugu. Nnewi and Aba industrialists created local brands without government help. Igbo tech developers dominate Lagos digital economy, yet Nollywood awards go to Lagos-based producers. Tech grants go to northern and western startups. Industrial policies never support Igbo clusters. Nigeria still use Igbo genius and gives the UN speaks. The US government issue statement. Global NGOs intervene. But on Igbo issues, silence on Nnamdi Kanu's illegal detention, silence on Eastern killings and military crackdown. Why is this world ignoring the slow genocide of the Igbo people? Maybe it's not just Nigeria that has an Igbo problem. Maybe the global power system does too. What Sowore said is not just a political hot take, it's a whistleblower moment. The memo he referenced may be secret, but the marginalization is public and undeniable. That is just it. And if just like I always say, if care is not taken, you find out that the indigenous people of Biafra are really going to stage a protest for this Igbo marginalization, because they are saying that enough is enough to reach. Even the fact that they even postponed Nnamdi Kanu's case, the indigenous people of Biafra is saying that enough is enough of this case postponement. If during October 10th, they don't really give this man freedom, the indigenous people of Biafra are really going to stage a violent protest. Now, why is it that when a group of unarmed Igbo youths gather to protest injustice, they are immediately branded terrorists, IPOB sympathizers, or sectionalists? Yet, when northern groups block road or attack community, they are called bandits or misguided youths. This is a strategy of deliberate or stigmatization. It criminalizes Igbo pain, it delegitimizes Igbo voice, it justifies military crackdown in the East. Even in their own land, the Igbo youths are being profiled like foreigners. Let's take a map of Nigeria and compare troop deployments. In the northeast, where Boko Haram kills hundreds, soldiers are deployed cautiously. But in the southeast, where protests are largely peaceful, you see armed tanks, surveillance drones, and aggressive war checkpoints. Why? The east is being treated like occupied territory, not to fight crime, but to suppress identity. That's why Sowore's comments about a memo makes sense. It explains the over-militarization of a region demanding justice. Why are there no functioning international seaports in the southeast? Onitsha port was completed but never allowed to fully operate. Ibote cement shipping terminal was stored with federal red tape, no support for building deep sea ports in Igbo land. Meanwhile, Lagos has multiple functioning ports. The North has functioning dry ports. Billions are spent dredging Calabar and Warri, like why Onitsha is being ignored. This is not an accident. This is what economic sabotage to ensure that Igbos remain dependent on others. Every time the Igbos cry out about injustice, here's what the media and political class say: stop playing the victim, forget the past, you're always complaining. Yet nobody tells the North to forget Boko Haram. Nobody tells Niger Delta to move on from oil pollution. Nobody tells the West to stop demanding restructuring. Why are the Igbos expected to forgive without justice and to forget without healing? This selective memory is a national disease, one that suppresses truth and empowers what? Oppression. Omoyole Sowore did not create the Igbo problem, but he merely said the quiet part out loud. Now, his words reflect a history of political words exclusion, a present of economic sabotage, a future they may believe is being rigged against the Southeast. So don't shoot the messenger. His statement confirms what the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, Chinachebe, and even Obasanjo have all pointed out in their own way. Nigeria is afraid of the Igbo man's potential, so he chooses suppression over what? Inclusion. Nigeria is really afraid of what an Igbo man can do, of an Igbo man's potential. So, he chooses suppression over what? Inclusion. What Sowore exposed is just one page in a larger book of injustice, a book written in silence, sealed in fear, and now finally being read, aloud. Sowore have told them that, you see, one thing with Nigeria is that they have this Igbophobia, and it's what is, is killing we Nigerians. They have Igbophobia. They feel that if when an Igbo man comes, he's going to do this, going to take over. But that's not true. Let's talk about election. In 2023, during the presidential election, dozens of polling units across the southeast and part of Lagos with large Igbo population were either not supplied with INEC materials, attacked by thugs while voting was ongoing, or had their result tampered with. Now ask yourself, why were those areas targeted? It's simple. The establishment fears the Igbo vote because it is unified and issue-based. They know that if the Igbo voice is fully allowed, it could swing, elections. This is not democracy, this is ethnic or disenfranchisement. Igbos are known for their business acumen. They build from nothing, dominate markets, and contribute billions to Nigeria's economy. But instead of celebration, what do they get? Heavy taxation in their whole state, demolition of their shops without due process, constant harassment by customs, EFCC, and SARS. Meanwhile, the same government gives incentives to foreign companies and northern what? Agribusiness. This economic war against the Igbo entrepreneur is deliberate. It's designed to stunt growth and force what? Migration. Why does the media rarely focus on Igbo suffering unless there is bloodshed? Even then, killings in the southeast are downplayed or labeled unknown gunmen. Protests are portrayed as Biafra agitation instead of what? Legitimate demands. Why, when Igbos leaders speak up, they branded as tribalists or secessionists. This media dissertation silences the truth, shapes public perception against the Southeast, protects the political cabals who benefit from the status quo. Let's ask the big question: why has Nigeria never had a democratically elected Igbo president since 1966, despite producing some of the most qualified candidates, being instrumental in the economy, innovation, and trade, suffering civil war, and still pushing for national unity? The answer, as Sowore revealed, lies in a hidden fear that an Igbo presidency will upset the power balance, that it may empower a people long suppressed, that it may expose what? Hidden injustice. This fear is what fuels the secret memo mentality, and it is destroying Nigeria from within. Now, where do we go from here? That is the question, because this isn't just about Sowore or Nnamdi Kanu, it's about the future of Nigeria. Will Nigeria choose dialogue or dictatorship, or will it embrace justice or double down on oppression, or will it remain one nation or continue dragging its division like a bleeding wound? As Sowore said, for an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break. Either break the injustice or the country will break itself. That is it, and that is what Sowore said there. For an Igbo man to survive in this country, Nigeria must break. An Igbo man cannot survive, because we found out that there's no how. We've tried all our possible best for them to treat us like one, but they are not doing it. They're even making it more worse. Let's compare this secret memo Sowore talked about, which wants the political class to be careful of giving Igbo opportunities with the Nigerian constitution. The constitution guarantees federal character in appointments, equal representation, freedom from ethnic or discrimination. So what happens when secret memos directly contradict the constitution? This is the answer. Nigeria is not being governed by law, but by cabals and tribal what? Fear. If secret ethnic policies override constitutional values, then what's the point of democracy? History is repeating itself. In 1966, a young generation of Igbo officers led a coup, did not retaliate. Over 30,000 Igbos were massacred. Today, we are seeing a repeat, not in full-blown war, but in political wars, exclusion, cultural erasure, and suppression of what Igbo aspirants. Sowore's word echoed this fear. There is a hidden memo, and Igbo cannot be president no matter how competent. This is not just fear of the past, it's the refusal to heal in a war from history. Now, let's analyze government response during the NSAS protest, National War Sympathy, IPOB protest, and military war deployment, and why the double standard. The Southeast has legitimate grievance on the development, military checkpoints on every road, unlawful detention of leaders like Nnamdi Kanu. Yet, every protest is staged with terrorism. The selective empathy is why the Southeast continues to feel alienated from the Nigerian project. So 2023 could have been a turning point. P2B, a man praised internationally for his performance, competence, and prudence, was rejected by powerful regions, not because of policy, but because of what ethnicity. Many northern elites admitted privately, we can't vote an Igbo man, not now. If not now, then when? After another civil war, after another generation is lost, Nigeria cannot heal until it treats all its children equally. Now we come to the path forward. There are three options Nigeria must choose from. Restructure through federalism, where each region controls its resources and politics. Referendum, let the people, especially in the Southeast, vote on their future. Do they still want to be part of Nigeria? The resignation of forced unity, admit that this union is not working peacefully and negotiate with it. Now, just like I always tell you guys, you see all these things that is happening now. If care is not taken, if this 1999 constitution is not written, it's going to be a whole lot. Like it's going to be a whole lot. Like a lot is going to be happening in Igbo if that 1999 constitution is not rewritten. Honestly, if it's not rewritten, it's going to be a whole lot. Now, just like I always tell you guys, please, I want you guys, to watch this video and listen to what the lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu have to say, and I'll be right back to tell you guys, why Sowore, linked this secret memo against.
When the president calm down, the reason Nnamdi Kanu have a discussion with him. You have been having a discussion with bandits and the so-called repentant Boko Haram. Tell me the offense of Nnamdi Kanu, because he's agitating for self-determination, which is his own constitutional fundamental rights granted to him by the constitution and the law.
Well, the government's angle is not because of the agitation, because they know that everyone has a right to agitate, but they said the way he was going about it, like and then people were being incited. Well, that's even not what I'm
what of the wife of the president incited people during the election? The wife of the president, he incited people that Igbo should go. What of the one of Lagos said that Igbo should go and fall into lagoon? What of those that came out and said that Igbos will not vote? If you are not voting for APC, you will not vote. What happened to them? Has anybody been arrested? That Nnamdi Kanu said something, then you now term that thing he said as is a terrorist, is a crime of terrorism. You charge him for terrorism. His own lawful organization that is registered in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe and Asia, and you now came to Nigeria, you term it a terrorist organization. Now you are now saying that now that IPOB is being recognized in almost all the whole countries, America and Europe. So you are now saying that America, France, Germany, they are recognizing a terrorist organization because you don't want anybody to agitate. You want to suppress anybody. If you talk, kill him, suppress him, jail him. In a country that is predicated on constitutional governance, it cannot work like that.
Okay, let's get back to the ministerial nomination of Bianca Ojukwu, because you said he took away one from Anambra and brought in another. But remember that the president took away the minister based on the KPI results that came out, which he was not even the one, that did the evaluation. It was the result given to him, with which he did that, meaning that if actually the minister had performed, above board in the KPI, they wouldn't have had any reason to remove her rather.
Now, still on that ministerial list, we have 48 of them, am I right? And we have 36 states in this country, including FCT 37. So, apart from Southeast, that have only 5, every other region have more than 6, apart from Southeast. Now, check since 1999, we have been having series of presidents. Let's use what is going on now. The president is from where? Vice is from where? Speaker is from where? Senate President is from where? CJN is from where? Court of Appeal President is from where? National Industrial Court President is from where? Chief Judge of Federal High Court is from where? And they are saying that the people of Southeast belongs to this country.
The chief of
Are you
the
sure you're
staff.
not, Max, are you sure you're not, I mean, it's just like what I said too. I mean, isn't it time we started to be less sentimental about this diversity?
We have to apply it now. We are talking about, we are saying that the only people that are qualified to hold on this position, nobody from South is qualified. On what basis?
Are you saying that there's
But the
nobody?
chief of Naval Staff is from the Southeast.
Huh?
The chief of Naval Staff.
From where? I'm talking about the key position.
No,
Number one person, number two person,
can't
number
be
three person,
everywhere.
number four person, number five person. The key position, we have three arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the parliament. You can never see anybody from Southeast there. Now, the point we are talking about is that when I'm not even talking about, I'm in court about lopsided appointments.
Okay.
I can avail that my process because I did an intensive research in that process. File it, asking court to view whether this particular appointment, whether this particular government is in line with Federal Character Establishment Act, an act of National Assembly that said that you should carry everybody along. Section 14 of the Constitution also said that you should carry everybody along. And we are not doing all these things. You are telling me that, yes, now that you have removed Kennedy Hanele and you are now brought in Jan Kojuku, that the people of Southeast will jubilate. Are you talking to idiots? Look at the people that you are talking about. Let me start with the source. In football, the people that have made Nigeria proud are the people of Southeast. In commerce, in aviation industry, name it. In academics, they are from people of Southeast. But when it comes to power, they are not qualified. And we want them to be happy. Listen, let me tell you, like today that is Monday, go to Southeast. And my annoyance is that these things are avoidable for Christ's sake. The one at Niger, they listen and the Kalu. Let us start addressing this issue. This early morning, somebody sent me a clip, something they posted. That they said I think they said next week, the next 2 weeks, that there will be nothing like federal courts in the whole of Southeast. What do I mean by federal courts? Federal courts, National Industrial Court is a federal court. Federal High Court is a federal court. Court of Appeal is a federal court. Now, the judges that are there, most of them are not Igbos. Majority of them are not Igbos. How should you risk somebody to go and preside in the Court of Appeal or the Judicial Division, Oka Judicial Division, Enugu Judicial Division? How can you appoint somebody to go and preside in Federal High Court in the Southeast, National Industrial Court in the Southeast? And you are not even thinking about all this, and the judges are not even thinking about So the point we are talking about is that when there is a problem, look for a solution. Personally, somebody like us, we are not even, I'm defending Nnamdi Kanu, one of his lawyers. So when they say so you people are not doing what you're supposed to do, the person that is calling you, don't even know him. He's using a hidden number to call you. You don't even know what they're talking about. The only thing that is that you went to court and you were unable to bring Nnamdi Kanu out. They're not even safe.
Okay, Maxwell, let me ask you this, because from what you're saying, I've also heard IPOB many times deny, allegations of being involved in some of the killings that happen in the Southeast and some of the, the ills that we see in the society. Even the sit-at-home in question, IPOB has also claimed that he has not asked anybody to sit at home. I don't know, get my point. So the point I'm making is that from what you're saying, it would look as if what you're actually trying to say is that it's because Nnamdi is being held,
yes,
that is why the ills in the society in the Southeast has escalated. Does it have anything to do with him? That is what you're saying.
Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB is his initiative. He established it, he organized it. Now, when you now kidnapped him or adopted him, and unlawfully, because the Supreme Court have said that he was unlawfully brought into this country, and you kept him incommunicado, everybody on his own. This one we kill, you said at IPOB. This one we maim, he said at IPOB. Everybody on his own. That's why I ask you the question, who is IPOB? The IPOB is Nnamdi Kanu. So Nnamdi Kanu, if Nnamdi Kanu is out, you will know who is who. Simon Ekpa will talk his own, Emma Powerful will talk his own, this one will talk his own, this one. Who is IPOB? That you are even talking. Simon Ekpa is in Finland. Emma Powerful, I don't know where he's operating from. Another person is operating from somewhere. Issuing threats. Just like the one somebody told me. I don't even know where that one is coming from. So the easiest way to do is the one that you know. Nnamdi Kanu. Then tell Attorney General, as he discontinue the charges against the president of Mieti Ala Kato, discontinue that of Sowore, they are all terrorism. Tell them to discontinue that of Nnamdi Kanu, and allow Nnamdi Kanu to agitate. It is his right. I told you here the other day.
You see, that's where the problem is, really. The guarantee, that there will not be problems, even if Nnamdi Kanu is, because you're saying allow him to agitate, and he goes about it the way he used to, like, the government have actually feared. That may also create more problems, don't you think?
Let me tell you, there are some things that you asked me the other day whether they are talking about condition giving Nnamdi Kanu. I told you one question. I say, if you give Nnamdi Kanu condition that he feel after meeting up that condition, he will still live like a human being, so be it. But when you give him condition and you are removing that made him a human being, he will tell you no. What is that made you a human being? That thing that makes you a human being is your ability to exercise your fundamental rights. And when somebody said, now I'm going to employ you here, I'll be paying you $500,000 every month, but you will not talk, you will not move out, you say, do away with your job. When somebody said, I'm going to release you, but I'll cut one of your hands, say no. The agitation for self-determination is a fundamental right. And if you people fail to understand it, I can agitate that I need the Republic of Maxwell. Yeah. It is my right. Anybody can agitate. I don't even need crowd to follow me. It is when you now feel that you have gotten the necessary, need the necessary qualities, then so be it. It is now left for the president who believe in democracy, who believe in government of the people by the people, to apply an initiative. What is the initiative? Release the person, start addressing all those issues that gave rise to this agitation. It has been there. Uwazirike was agitating during Obasanjo. A lot of people were agitating. So now that you have arrested, you come down Uwazirike that time, Nnamdi Kanu came up. Now that you have arrested Nnamdi Kanu, someone is there. I think this data from Ned Nwoko was telling you that even if you are, when the president calm down, the reason Nnamdi Kanu, have a discussion with him. You have been having a discussion with bandits and the so-called repentant Boko Haram. Tell me the offense of Nnamdi Kanu, because he's agitating for self-determination, which is his own constitutional fundamental rights granted to him by the constitution and the law. Well,
the government's anger is not because of the agitation, because they know that everyone has a right to agitate, but they said the way he was going about it, like and then people were being incited. Well, that's even not what I'm
what of the one the wife of the president incited people during the election? The wife of the president, he incited people that Igbos should go. What of the one Oba of Lagos said that Igbos should go and fall into lagoon? What of those that came out and said that Igbos will not vote? If you are not voting for APC, you will not vote. What happened to them? Has anybody been arrested? That Nnamdi Kanu said something, then you now term that thing he said as is a terrorist, is a crime of terrorism. You charge him for terrorism. His own lawful organization that is registered in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe and Asia, and you now came to Nigeria, you term it a terrorist organization. Now you are now saying that now that IPOB is being recognized in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe. So you are now saying that America, France, Germany, they are recognizing a terrorist organization because you don't want anybody to agitate. You want to suppress anybody. If you talk, kill him, suppress him, jail him. In a country that is predicated on a constitutional governance, it cannot work like that.
Okay, let's get back to the ministerial nomination of Bianca Ojukwu, because you said he took away one from Anambra and brought in another. But remember that the president took away the minister based on the KPI results that came out, which he was not even the one, that did the evaluation. It was the result given to him with which he did that, meaning that if actually the minister had performed, above board in the KPI, they wouldn't have had any reason to remove her rather.
Now, still on that ministerial list, we have 48 of them, am I right? And we have 36 states in this country, including FCT 37. So, apart from Southeast, that have only 5, every other region have more than 6, apart from Southeast. Now, check since 1999, we have been having series of presidents. Let's use what is going on now. The president is from where? Vice is from where? Speaker is from where? Senate President is from where? CJN is from where? Court of Appeal President is from where? National Industrial Court President is from where? Chief Judge of Federal High Court is from where? And they are saying that the people of Southeast belongs to this country.
Are you sure Max, are you sure you're not? I mean, it's just like what I said too. I mean, isn't it time we started to be less sentimental about this diversity?
We have to apply it now. We are saying that the only people that are qualified to hold all this position Nobody from South is qualified. On what basis?
Are you saying that there's
But the
nobody?
chief of naval staff is from the Southeast.
Huh?
The chief of naval staff.
From where? I'm talking about the key position.
No,
Number one person, number two person, number three person, number four person, number five person. The key position. We have three arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the parliament. You can never see anybody from Southeast there. Now, the point we are talking about is that when I'm not even talking about, I'm in court about lopsided appointments.
Okay.
I can avail that my process because I did an intensive research in that process. File it, asking court to view whether this particular appointment, whether this particular government is in line with Federal Character Establishment Act, an act of National Assembly that said that you should carry everybody along. Section 14 of the Constitution also said that you should carry everybody along. And we are not doing all these things. You are telling me that, yes, now that you have removed Kennedy Handele and you are now brought in Jan Kojuku, that the people of Southeast will jubilate. Are you talking to idiots? Look at the people that you are talking about. Check, let me start with the sports. In football, the people that have made Nigeria proud are the people of Southeast. In commerce, in aviation industry, name it, in academics. They are from people of Southeast. But when it comes to power, they are not qualified. And we want them to be happy. Listen, let me tell you, like today that is Monday, go to Southeast. And my annoyance is that these things are avoidable for Christ's sake. The one at Niger. The reason and the Kalu, let us start addressing this issue. This early morning, somebody sent me a clip, something they posted. That they said from, I think they said next week, maybe next 2 weeks, that there will be nothing like federal courts in the whole of Southeast. What do I mean by federal courts? Federal courts, National Industrial Court is a federal court. Federal High Court is a federal court. Court of Appeal is a federal court. Now, the judges that are there, most of them are not Igbos. Majority of them are not Igbos. How should you risk somebody to go and preside in the Court of Appeal over the Judicial Division, Oka Judicial Division, Enugu Judicial Division? How can you appoint somebody to go and preside in Federal High Court in the Southeast, National Industrial Court in the Southeast? And you are not even thinking about all this. And the judges are not even thinking about, So the point we are talking about is that when there is a problem, look for a solution. Personally, somebody like us, we're not even, I'm defending Nnamdi Kanu, one of his lawyers. So when they say so you people are not doing what you're supposed to do, the person that is calling you, you don't even know him. He's using the hidden number to call you. You don't even know what they're talking about court. The only thing that you went to court and you were unable to bring Nnamdi Kanu out. They're not even safe.
Okay, Maxwell, let me ask you this, because from what you're saying, I've also heard IPOB many times deny, allegations of being involved in some of the killings that happen in the Southeast and some of the, the ills that we see in the society. Even the sit-at-home in question, IPOB has also claimed that he has not asked anybody to sit at home. I don't know, get my point. So the point I'm making is that from what you're saying, it would look as if what you're actually trying to say is that it's because Nnamdi is being held,
yes,
that is why the ills in the society in the Southeast has escalated. Does it have anything to do with him? That is what you're saying.
Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB is his initiative. He established it, he organized it. Now, when you now kidnapped him or adopted him, and unlawfully, because the Supreme Court have said that he was unlawfully brought into this country, and you kept him incommunicado, everybody on his own. This one we kill, you said at IPOB. This one we maim, you said at IPOB. Everybody on his own. That's why I asked you the question, who is IPOB? The IPOB is Nnamdi Kanu. So Nnamdi Kanu, if Nnamdi Kanu is out, you will know who is who. Simon Ekpa will talk his own, Emma Powerful will talk his own, this one will talk his own, this one. Who is IPOB? That you are even talking. Simon Ekpa is in Finland. Emma Powerful, I don't know where he's operating from. Another person is operating from somewhere. Issuing threats. Just like the one somebody told me. I don't even know where that one is coming from. So the easiest way to do is the one that you know. Nnamdi Kanu. Then tell Attorney General, as he discontinue the charges against the president of Mieti Ala Kato, discontinue that of Sowore, they are all terrorism. Tell them to discontinue that of Nnamdi Kanu and allow Nnamdi Kanu to agitate. It is his right. I told you the other day.
You see, that's where the problem is, really. The guarantee, that there will not be problems, even if Nnamdi Kanu is, because you're saying allow him to agitate, and he goes about it the way he used to, like, the government have actually feared. That may also create more problems, don't you think?
Let me tell you, there are some things that you asked me the other day whether they are talking about condition given in Nnamdi Kanu. I told you one question. I say, if you give Nnamdi Kanu condition that he feel after meeting up that condition, he will still live like a human being, so be it. But when you give him condition and you are removing that made him a human being, he will tell you no. What is that made you a human being? That thing that makes you a human being is your ability to exercise your fundamental rights. And when somebody said, now I'm going to employ you here, I will be paying you $500,000 every month, but you will not talk. You will not move out. You say, do away with your job. When somebody said, I'm going to release you, but I will cut one of your hands, say no. The agitation for self-determination is a fundamental right. And if you people fail to understand it, I can agitate that I need the Republic of Maxwell. Yeah. It is my right. Anybody can agitate. I don't even need crowd to follow me. It is when you now feel that you have gotten the necessary need the necessary qualities, then so be it. It is now left for the president who believe in democracy, who believe in government of the people by the people, to apply your initiative. What is the initiative? Release the person. Start addressing all those issues that gave rise to this agitation. It has been there. Uwazirike was agitating during Obasanjo. A lot of people were agitating. So now that you have arrested, you come down Uwazirike that time. Nnamdi Kanu came up. Now that you have arrested Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa is there. I think this data from Ned Nwoko was telling you that even if you arrest Simon Ekpa today, another Simon Ekpa will come out. So the issue there is that address all those issues.
Right. So for you, it's not about ministerial appointment.
No. That one. Okay, that is the complete distraction. That one should even come in. Okay. After in now, let Bianca come and address the Igbos in Enugu.
So guys, you guys have probably listened to what the lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu said, saying that you cannot come and, be detaining someone without addressing, the root cause of why the person is agitating. It's just like now saying, what is actually making this man to agitate? Look for the things that's making me to agitate and address it. That's the only way you can bring peace in Nigeria. But they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. And look at the way they're even marginalizing the Igbos, making it the case more worse, treating Igbos like second-class citizens in their own country. This is terrible. Anyway, guys, just like I always tell you guys, we use this platform to agitate for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So please do well to type in the comment section, free Nnamdi Kanu, and also justice delayed is not justice denied. We normally use this platform to agitate for his release and to tell the federal government that he is innocent. So please, guys, do well to drop your comment in the comment section. And also don't forget that Nnamdi Kanu will be coming to court on October 10, 2025, and I'll be giving you guys latest update on everything going on with Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, thanks for watching, and see you guys again in my next live section.